When I think about Manu Ginobili, I think about greatness, and most importantly, Eurostep.
Eurostep.
The Eurostep.
The Eurostep that everybody does to this day.
Absolutely amazing Manu Ginobili. How many times have we seen this? This is the Manu crossover right there.
It's like he's moving downhill at you, but he's moving sideways at the same time. And he just has so many little tricks.
The way he attacks the basket, his speed and force and ability to change direction so quickly and then finish with either hand is impeccable.
His ability to slash, play with flair, style.
Really changed the way the game is played today. Now you see guys do it 2, 3, 4 times a game.
Ginobili attacks, twists, and scores! Manu in the face of it.
Coaching a guy like James Harden, who has mastered that move. Obviously, he had that impact on a guy like that who's become one of the best players in the league.
Everybody that makes that move now, knows that historically they got it from Manu Ginobili. That's one of the greatest moves, whether it's Kareem's hook shot, Manu's Euro step might be right up there with it.
Ginobili so crafty. To the rim, off the glass and in. Manu Ginobili.
You never knew exactly what he was going to do, where the ball was going to go, what kind of play he might make. But 9 times out of 10, whatever he did helped win basketball games.
Manu memory.
My favorite Manu memory, it's probably the funny one.
You saved the San Antonio Spurs from that ravenous bat.
Here's the bat. He's back.
During the game, it was a Sacramento game, Halloween night. There's a bat flying around the AT&T Center.
You're on the court playing a game, and you talk about doing whatever it takes to win. And there's a vampire bat flying through the crowd.
And in classic Manu style, he takes matters into his own hands.
Oh, Manu knocked it out of midair! Manu had enough!
He didn't wait for the security people or the building people to take down the bat.
He takes a whiff at it and knocks him down and tries to go back to playing.
Look at that hand-eye coordination. Are you kidding me?
With one swipe of his hand, brought down a bat and delivered it outside the tunnel.
Is there nothing he can't do?
I'll never forget that.
Ginobili on the finish. Flushes it with the left hand. The team, and that's what makes it so nice.
When I think of Manu, I think of the ultimate competitor.
Oh my, Manu Ginobili!
The guy that leaves it all on the line, the guy that finds a way to get a win.
He was not just a player with energy. There are other players with energy, but he was so intelligent in reading teammates, in understanding what needed to be done, whether it was in a basketball game or after a game on a bus or on an airplane. Just curious about making everybody feel comfortable in the environment, and that's something that you just can't teach.
One of the best competitors I've ever played against and played with. One of the smartest basketball players. One of the smartest people.
He was rather frenetic when you think about it, and you never could pigeonhole him.
Oh my, Manu Ginobili! What a pass! Manu for three! Oh, Manu!
My favorite memory of Manu, we were coming down the stretch and he took a long three and he made it.
Yes!
And it kind of closed out the game, and it was just Manu being Manu.
I remember us playing San Antonio in Toronto when I was with Toronto. It was a fast break, and me and Manu was kind of going for the ball. He got the ball, and I was trying to stop him. He threw the ball between my legs and ran around me, got the ball, and kept going. And it happened so quick to where it caught me off guard. I hope I can find footage of that.
Ginobili gets through traffic. What a play by Manu Ginobili.
His game spoke for himself, but more importantly, how he carried himself off the floor as a man, as a person, as a father, as a teammate, just everything. He's a great dude, great individual. I call him a rare dude. It's rare to come across a dude like that. The greatest, one of the greatest. Love that dude.
Manu Ginobili for me, I think, is everything. I mean, he's a hero, he's and the same Paul, just a great person. We are a good friend, and I just want to say thank you for everything.
I think that time will come and I'll be able to, reflect on what it was to have him as a teammate. But more importantly for me, it's one of those things where I'm more than happy to be able to call him, and lucky I should say, to be able to call him a friend for life.
Heart. Manu's got a huge heart, whether it's a heart to compete, to be curious about the world, to love his teammates, to be a great family guy. He's just an incredible individual. Somebody that is really irreplaceable.
The one moment we were like, okay, there is no way we're losing that game is when Manu got up and, what was it, 38 by the time, 37-year-old, and dunked on Chris Bosh.
He'll drive it inside. Manu all the way in, left hand slam.
So that would show all the will that his team had and I've had since the beginning of the season. And maybe because all the frustration from the season before and from losing the year before, that could show during that play, during that big dunk. Everybody really wanted some redemption. And Manu, of course, was a big part of it because he was a veteran that already know a lot about how to go and get the championship and paying attention to details. And so it's somebody that is really hard on himself in the game, and he's also, expecting from his teammates, and he was pushing everybody to play at their best. Merci, Manu.
Being on the team in 2012 when we made it to the playoffs in the first round against the Utah Jazz. In between games 3 and 4, I believe, in Salt Lake. We went out after a game to grab something to eat, and that was when he really wanted to get to know me a little bit better and about my upbringing and my culture and my parents' culture. So that one I remember quite vividly as maybe the real beginning of the friendship that I was able to create with him. It turns into a bonding camaraderie experience that, the dinner has turned into a 2.5 hour dinner because we don't want to leave, we want to keep talking. When it's all said and done, we'll never forget those moments, even more so than basketball. How wide his curiosity is made me just sit and watch and learn how to do that as well. I tell people this all the time, but I'm so fortunate and so lucky to have him as a role model so close to me during my times here in San Antonio. Gramps, gracias.
One thing I always look back on is that first year, his rookie year, 2003, when we won the championship.
Bad pass, Ginobili, gonna try to run it out. Keeps coming, layups, good for Ginobili on the steal.
I was 37 years old, and after the parade, we had a celebration. First, the Riverwalk, but then we went to the Dome, and our fans were there, and we addressed the fans at the Dome on the stage. And as we were leaving, he pulled me aside and he goes, "Hey, I really hope you come back and play next year." And that meant a lot to me. Here's this guy who's a emerging star, and I'm I'm an old man. I'm like, I've had enough, right? I can barely move anymore. And he comes and he puts his arm around me and goes, hey, I loved having you as a teammate. I really want you to come back and play. That still makes me feel good. So he knew what to say. So the last game of Manu's career was at Oracle, Game 5 of our series, and I grabbed Manu on his way off the floor. Maybe subconsciously I was telling him the same thing he was telling me, 16 years ago, whatever it was. Like, hey, I hope you keep playing just because, I like seeing you out there.
With Manu being a teammate and pushing the envelope of competitiveness on the floor, the one thing that will always last with me is that I always wanted to be a good teammate, and I think for most of the career that I had, I was. Manu wanted to make me a better person, and I think if players really reflect on their time with Manu or their time in any locker room, to say that about a teammate during your time in professional sports is an incredibly rare thing. And I want to thank Manu for making me a better person. Gracias, Manu. I didn't. I was thinking about that photo today because that gets me emotional. It gets me emotional because I had limitations in the game. You see Tim, you see David. What they do in the game is, I'm not 7 feet tall. I can't do what they do. But to see Manu and what he, I mean, if you can just twist Manu and just wring out some of that, I think just some of that would make so many players so much better of what he had inside of him. And after that game, for him to jump on me like that, I'm thrilled, but more importantly, I'm thrilled because this young man who has more talent than anybody will ever understand is more like a brother to me. And when you look at all the individuals that he's impacted, it's puro Manu. Oye, Manu, es un placer jugando contigo. Tú eres mi hermano y todo, siempre. Gracias, mi amigo.
There was a time we were slowly learning that Manu is like special. You know, this guy can do anything he puts his mind to. I really do believe that. Like if he, even post-basketball, he's retired now, I really do think this man can do anything he wants to. Local former world champion, Spurs fan, James Leha, we all used to train with him like in the summer. You know, boxing, it's a lot of hand-eye coordination and you have to work on every day to get. So he once brought over this like suspended bag. That's the bag that's hanging from the ceiling and anchored to the floor and it just bounces, you know, you have to speed back with it. And we're all swinging, the bag is hitting us and we're missing the bag. And I swear to you, within like 2 minutes, he was throwing like 4 or 5 punch combos, blew James Leha's mind and like just further proved that this guy is just like a freak of nature. He can do whatever he wants. He learned like a hard boxing lesson in less than 2 minutes. I mean, he can kick a basketball 3/4 court into the basket, he can catch bats out of midair. I mean, the guy can do anything and that's what made him special because he wasn't afraid to try anything and he was just good at everything. Gracias, Manu.